CartoTrack Maps can give you unparalleled access to custom maps complete with topographical contours, accurate trail data, and points of interest. Accurate, vetted data and information, including trails and important points of interest. No service required. Your location will be automatically updated by GPS as you go. With over 25 years of experience, CartoTrack's maps are clean and easy to use, complete with contour lines, letting you know what is up and what is down. CartoTracks, smart mapping. Visit us today at cartotracks.com.
So we're out here doing a level 9 buggy trail with 37-inch tall tires and full body rigs. That feels pretty good.
As Bailey Built being the official Bronco sponsor for the event, we sponsor a trail called Joint Effort.
Several inclines, some downgrades. The rocks are some of the best in the country as far as rock crawling goes.
Gives you a little bit of the heart pump, and we're all looking for a little adrenaline rush, so that's what this is all about.
I tore off the ram mount from the frame. Another day.
All right, guys, we are live. Trying to get Crystal on step here. Got a lot of things to go over. Really appreciate you guys tuning in and being a part of what we do every year, and really a big thank you to helping us make this the biggest and best year yet. Without your guys' hard work and dedication, and to the event and to people coming here and having a good time, this event wouldn't be one of the best in the country, and we just really appreciate everything that you guys do, not just for us and the event, but for the industry and the positive light that this area has on the industry, and how it's really made a difference and an impact on a lot of people. And because of you guys, people move here and people enjoy Southern Utah and are really entrenched in what we do here locally within the community. And it's a big benefit to the economic community here, or the community through economics, and then through economic impact. And just that really helps the whole thing happen. And so you're the boots on the ground, essentially, to be able to deal with and handle our influx of people that come. So It means the world to us that you guys are here and dedicated and helping us. So knock it off. Seriously. That's my son making noises with the bottle. All right, so there's a lot to go over, and we want to try to get all this kind of nestled into an hour. So we're going to try to keep the pace going and not really get too caught in the weeds. But at the same time, we want to answer all of your questions. If it's a question that we've already answered, we are not going to answer it again. So if you're tuned in late or whatever, and we say, well, we've already answered that question, when this is over, then you can go back and rewatch it because there are people who tune in a little late, and then we end up saying the same thing 5 times over and over, and it doesn't really help this go the length we want. So
plus we're recording this.
Yes, and we're recording this, so this will be available in the group later, and then also available on YouTube, because there's a lot of people who don't use Facebook. People, if you know any of them, we will be posting the Facebook or the YouTube link after this is all done and it's uploaded, and then you have the ability to send that to some of your guides or your friends that are going to be helping. And this isn't just guides meeting, we call it guides meeting, but it's all overall all staff. And so there's a lot that we'll go over that may not pertain to you, but it's all important information, and some of it in one way or another will benefit you in knowing the information. So hang in there, and let's get started.
You have a question already.
I already have a question.
And I've answered it,
Okay.
but we'll say it out loud. Wanting to know Neil Cutright would like to know, wanting to know the soonest we can go in for volunteer camping, and where will we be setting up?
Okay, so we'll get into camping in just a little bit. So thank you, and we'll answer that question here shortly. We're going to kind of start from the top in that what we need as you guys are guides and or staff, and what to expect when you get to the event, what should be kind of your first step. For a lot of people, part of that first step is camping, but we're going to get to that in a little bit. Once you get set up, whether it's at your hotel, camp, whatever, before you interact with the event, you're going to need to go to one of our registrations. The park will undeniably charge you for not having your pass. There's a new park director, and everything has changed. So we don't really have the liberty that we've had in the past. We need you guys to really follow the rules and not give the people at the front gate any hassle because you're a guide or anything like that. If you don't have a guide pass, and this year we have specific volunteer passes, if you don't have one of those, you will have to pay to get into the park unless you already have a year permit. If you're out of state, that could mean, I think it's $30 now for a day use pass. So make sure that when you get into town, you get into registration. With that being said, if you are already a guide and camping, we have, and you're camping in the guide area, we have specific guide camping papers that you'll need to take and put on your dash, and that will get you into the front gate so that you can camp in the guide area. And unfortunately, we're going to have to run those to the front gate for you. We won't be able to let you in and then give it to you when you get in. It just doesn't work that way. If you're camping in a campsite that already is like it's one of our established campsites, or it's a primitive site and you're not camping in the guide area that's free, that is when you'll print out your ticket, basically, that you reserved through our ticketing page for your site, and you'll print out your reservation ticket and you'll show that to the front gate. They'll actually scan it, and then you'll be able to enter through that manner.
Can we scoot this over a little bit towards you? They were saying it's a little quiet. I just had someone tell me it's a little quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I can turn it up a little bit.
Sorry.
So how's that? Any better? I'm going to increase our volume here. All right, so when it comes to camping, it's always a sensitive subject, but luckily this year there is tons of room in all aspects. The lake levels are going down quite rapidly, to be honest. We have every inch of the volunteer camping area that we've had in the past, which is huge. And so over the next month, that ground will get more firm and harder compact, and it'll be perfect by the time the Trail Hero event happens. So, any other questions when it comes to camping before we move on?
What time on Monday?
On Monday, the earliest you can get in is 7 a.m. You can show up as early as Sunday. Your reservation starts Sunday, basically. So every single camper, their reservation starts Sunday, unless you've made a separate reservation with the park for earlier in the week. You can come in as early as Sunday. Once you get here, if it's after Sunday, like when we're doing trails, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for camping, you won't be able to get in the park until roughly 10:30 for your camping reservation. And that's because we're trying to push everyone we can in through the front gate so that they can get to the trails and not get kind of caught up from the campers
So
lining
you're
up.
asking about for the guide area on Sunday.
What about it?
I'm assuming staff camping.
So
Okay, so I think
It's
the
the same.
question- Yeah, so the
staff camping opens up Sunday
Monday?
morning. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the Monday morning.
Yeah.
Correct.
So on our list here,
It
it's
says Monday.
incorrect.
Okay. So yeah.
I put the wrong information. I'm sorry. It's not written right on my paper.
Oh, all good. All camping opens up Sunday, so that includes staff camping. All right. What's that?
That's nice.
Yeah.
And they'll get like all that stuff, like their camping pass will be at the kickoff party.
Their camping pass will be at the kickoff party, but if you get there early, we're gonna have to run it out to you. If you get there before the kickoff party. So we'll send somebody out with the camping pass. You'll have to literally park
And
to the
wait.
side and wait until the camping pass comes out. And it may not be right away. It may be 10 minutes before we get to you. It's just kind of the way it is right now.
Right.
All right. When you get on site and you're done getting into your campsite, you'll need to go to our kickoff party or one of the morning registrations to get all of your credentials. At that, you will typically, if it's kickoff party, you're going to find Crystal. There's a separate tent that is in a new location this year. I wonder if I can bring it
Think
up
you
here.
have that?
I think I do. 1 second. Here we go. The kickoff party location is, let's see, I'm going to bring it up here a little bit and make it bigger. It's at the same, Sand Hollow
Rock Bowl.
Rock Bowl. You can see TH1 and TH2, which are in a new location, comparatively speaking. TH2 is for sponsors, staff, and guides. TH1 is for regular trail riders
Participants.
and participants. So that'll kind of give you an idea of where to go. You see the yellow line in there. You'll be, when you come into the Rock Bowl, you'll be to the right. Everyone will be to the right of that yellow line. And they'll be led into the Rock Bowl and around the Rock Bowl in a counterclockwise fashion all the way to the tents. At which point you'll go through your registration process, and then you can then line up for merch or anything else. That's kind of, we're trying to direct traffic a little bit and actually utilize the Rock Bowl, whereas in the past, people just kind of sit out in the front and nobody knows that they can come in. So we kind of move this along a little easier for everyone who's standing in line and trying to register as well. Get into the Rock Bowl and enjoy it a little bit more. Any questions before we move on?
Nope, good to go.
Okay. At the Rock Bowl, when you register, you're going to get your placard for being at Trail Hero. You will get a guide shirt. We actually have a couple different guides or a couple different guide shirts this year. Thanks to Miracle Truss and Cardotrax, their efforts have put together multiple guide shirts for this year. With that being said, Miracle Truss has their own guide shirt, and then Cardotrax really laid the boots on the ground. Jake went and got a couple sponsors to help pay for more guide shirts, and so a special thanks to Rock Slide Engineering, Savvy Off-Road, Rock Crawler Suspension, Infinite Off-Road, Raceline Wheels for the guide shirts. That is super beneficial to you guys. I know typically we only do one guide shirt a year, so if it's your first year, you're wearing probably a pretty stinky shirt by the end of the week.
Pretty right.
A lot of the guides have been guiding for multiple years. They have multiple guide shirts, but we're still gonna hook you guys up and try to get as much as we can to you. And so that's kind of big thanks to those companies for supplying the guide shirts.
And Jake is on too, so everyone can thank him as well. He's
Yeah,
watching.
Jake's watching, and he every year we task him with, hey, help us get more guide shirts, and every year he's doing everything he can to do that, and it's really cool that he was able to put that together this year. So it's a big help. And we'll get into maps in a second where Jake could help maybe answer some questions. So if you have those, just hold off a little bit. The credentials this year, guides and staff get a volunteer credential. That volunteer credential gets you basically on any guided trail ride that you want, with the understanding that if you're not guiding the trail and you're staff or volunteer or a guide, that any chance that there is to help the guides out, you take that. So, if there's already, I think every trail has at least 2 to 3 people on the trail. But if you're a guide and you're just jumping on the trail, we want to make sure that you are out there helping as well, just to help get things through and a little quicker, and
just check
it
in
helps.
with the main guides and just be like, hey, I'm here as an extra if you need me, or if someone breaks down, I can stay and help them, whatever, anything to help them.
Yeah.
For sure.
Anything to help enhance the experience for the trail riders. With that being said, we're going to kind of go into what we need you to do for your trails as guides. You got a question?
So a few things.
Okay.
So do we need to line up in the same line as all the participants?
So yes, you do. You as a guide will need to line up in the exact same line as all of your participants. That is, you're showing the participants how to line up, basically. You should be the first vehicle there, and therefore you line up just like everyone else. When you pull up front and you're sideways and everything, it really creates havoc for staging lanes.
About registration.
For registration?
Yes, during registration.
Oh, the registration line.
No.
So they can skip the big line and go around.
Yeah.
They skip the registration line for participants and come to the guides. If they are guides and staff, they will skip participation.
Good question.
Participants and come to guide and staff area.
Yeah, so you'll still go along that same path, but you will skip the line and go straight to the guides and staff.
Okay,
So
let's see.
If they're a participant, if they are signed up as a participant as well on other trails, they're still going to have to go to the participant line. So some of our guides do go on participant trails, and they'll still, some of them pay for it. They enjoy. I'm like, you don't have to, but some of them do, and they still want to because they're going with their friends. So they always go to check in too.
Okay, yeah.
So that's
They're hanging out.
Yeah.
If you hit one, then they'll hit the other.
yeah.
Okay, so another few things here. Will staff get the annual plaque that Summit makes?
yes,
Yes.
all staff and guides will get the annual plaque.
Okay, and then the next one, Eric says, if you need helpers on Monday, even for running passes out to the park gate, let me know. I'm available most all day on Monday.
That's great. We appreciate that. And any kind of help in that regard, and we'll go over, what kind of help we need outside of, the typical list in a little bit, but any of that stuff really helps out. All right, so guides, when you get to the trail lineups, I kind of thought the question was based for this, but it's very important that you guys get in line for the trail lineups as well. So please do not park perpendicular in front or anything like that. It's happened in the past. We need you in the staging lanes.
So this year, you're going to have 2-car wide lanes. I want you to put your leader in the very front on the left-hand side, driver's side, park on the left. Okay. Anyways, so double wide all the way back.
The picture's backwards.
It's backwards.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
it's freaking me out.
Don't look at you.
I
Just
can't help it.
Use your left and right.
You go like this.
It'll be fine.
Well, I don't know how to do left or right either.
He doesn't know which one's left.
So what my plan is for this year, I run the tunnel. In case y'all don't know who I am, you should by now. But I am going to sound a very loud horn at 8:55 in the morning. I expect you to start getting all your people in your Jeeps and ready to go. I want to run that tunnel faster than we've ever ran it. I have zero intentions of letting anybody back in the park until 11 o'clock in the morning. So I want all you guides to have your people in your vehicles ready to go, because I'm going to put like 30 seconds between groups. Maybe a little longer than that. I got to figure this timing out, but I want them very, very close together so we can just get all of you on your trails out having a good time and not sitting in a parking lot waiting to go. So that is a plan for this year. On the motorsports side, I'm sorry I just bumped in here, but I'm going to give you more wider lanes and just give you more space, because I know that's a complaint every year that the lanes aren't long enough. So we're going 500 feet this year instead of 300 like last year, and I'm going double wide. So you're going to have all the room in the world for all your participants, even the big 40-car pileups. You should be able to all fit in your lane this year. So that's what I'm doing for you guys this year.
And
bye.
So on the left side of the lane should be your lead and the first part of your crew. On the right side should be your mid gunner and the second part of the crew, and then your tails should be behind. So kind of gives you a lot more room to function and everything. Now, as you set that up, you know that at 8:55 and then again at 9:55, the horn's going to go off. And so that's when you tell everyone to get in their vehicles. That also means that before that, there's some things that you have to go over as a guide, right? And so every time I'm a guide, I try to put together what I call a tailgate meeting or a driver's meeting. At this meeting is when you kind of have a checklist of things that I want you to go over. And honestly, I could print off notes or something for you guys like some of the other organizations, but that's what this is for. It's for you to take notes and then, act accordingly when you get there. So there's a couple things I need you to go over. First of all, I need you to look at everyone's passes and make sure that they're actually supposed to be on a guided trail that day. All their passes on the right-hand side of the pass on the back have letters for each of the days, and if one of them is hole punched, that means that they did not pay to go on trails that day. So they should not be on your trail. So if it's a Wednesday and the W is punched out, that means they didn't pay and they got to get out.
And hardcore always tries to jump on the guided trails.
And the hardcore pass does not count. And that's one thing that Tacoma is happy to help you with. So any of these people that you have identified should not be there, Tacoma is there to kindly let them know to move to a different trail that is not being guided. That's hardcore pass owners, and that is people who do not belong on your trail. Also, you get a roster of everyone on your trail that Crystal text messages you.
So Tacoma's actually going to send that out this year. He's taking ownership of that, and he's going to send that out this year.
So you'll get that roster. I typically, I show of hands who's here, and I read through the roster. It helps out the event. It makes sure that everyone on your trail has signed a waiver. If they're not on that roster, they likely didn't sign a waiver to even be in attendance of the event. So this is something we really need help managing, because if somebody gets onto your trail that isn't supposed to be on your trail and then gets hurt, we are liable. So
We need to know who's on those trails.
we need
for
to
that reason.
we need to make sure that the right people are on the right trail. Also, one of the issues is because of BLM's new restrictions on population limits for trails. So certain trails have always had every trail has a population limit. Some trails have more limits than others, or higher limit than others. So every trail that's on BLM land is not allowed to have guided participants over 30 vehicles. Okay, so that means just regular paid trail rider participants. That does not include sponsors, and it does not include staff or volunteers, and it doesn't include racers. So if your list, if you're on the maze, will not have more than 30 vehicles on the maze, and that's just flat out the new stipulation by BLM, and they are monitoring this. So if you have more vehicles that are not guided trail riders on your trail, and BLM comes up to you and says, "Hey, you've got too many vehicles on your trail," that's when you go, "Well, we've got our 4 guides or 3 guides, plus we've got sponsors which will help as guides, plus we've got staff that help as guides as well." So the whole thing is, and the way it's built is, we're not allowed to have more than 30 people for 3 guides. So the idea is that for every 10 vehicles, you need a guide on a trail, with the limit on BLM trails now being 30. Now that's not including SITLA trails. So for instance, Double Sammy is on a state land trail. Can you turn on all the lights? Yeah, it's fine. It got really dark here. So there's a lot of people don't realize on the mountain there are 13 different property owners or managers that our trails go on their property. And so what you'll see is any BLM trail has a limit of 30 or less. Any trail that has 35 or more is typically state land, because we are allowed to get away with more. So just something to consider. Either way, on your guide or on your roster that you get text message, you'll see how many are on that trail, and we really shouldn't have any more on that list besides sponsors, other staff and guides, and any kind of racer type.
Like what about influencers?
Influencers are going to have specifically sponsor passes, and so that's the way to identify them. They don't have participant passes. They have sponsor passes because they are there with a company. If they don't have a pass, I don't care if it's Matt's Off-Road Recovery, kick their butt out. I'm sorry, but and I like Matt, but it's not. It does not work for the event. So if you need and you don't even have to kick them out. You'll go to Tacoma. Tacoma, hey, I've got 3 guys on my trail that don't belong here. Okay, point them out. Tacoma will handle it. That's what he's there to do. In your driver's meeting, kind of go over, typically I like to go over your CB radio channel, which is on your list of your roster. If you don't have a CB and you run race radios, divulge that information. We kind of leave the radio channel thing up to the guides, because by law we can't enforce that you use a civilian band channel or a UHF VHF channel. We can't even enforce that you use a GMRS channel. We can only make suggestions. So the suggestions that we have on the roster is the suggestion that we give for each trail, and they're all set up so that, just so you guys know, if you have, say, your 2 trails right next to each other, and we put one on channel 4 and one on channel 5 on the CB, oftentimes they'll step on each other and create skip. and whatever. So what we try to do is make sure that those are away. So if you are asked to run 17 and you don't like 17, just trust me, run it. Like, it's going to be better for everyone. There's a method to the madness. And then when you're done with your ride, we want to make sure that you take your participants to vendor row and tell them, hey, go stop by vendor row. We've got this year over 220 vendors that are on site and active during the event. It's the most we've ever had by a long shot. And we want to make sure that they're kind of paying the bill to host this thing. So we want to make sure that they get
Well, and they've got
get some
power
love.
hour too.
Yep, and then the big thing during vendor show is power hour from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. That's going to be the steepest show discounts. So even yourself, suggest you go to a vendor show and check it out because you can get some really cool and affordable parts. On top of that, we're going to be selling raffle tickets this year throughout the event, not just on Saturday of the vendor show. And you won't have to be present to win. So you can get your tickets and drop them off at the vendor's spot early. What?
Who's shipping that?
It's up to Tapley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna
He's-
dump it all on Tapley and be like,
Tapley's
you
handling
figure
it
out to do with all this stuff.
You
Okay.
mean from not from the kickoff party or from the vendor show?
from the vendor show.
Oh.
So, that's going to be managed by Tapley. The whole thing is
Because I'm thinking
managed
to
by
myself, I'm
Tapley.
like, crap, I want to be at the UPS store for a long time.
No.
It's gonna be a lot of
No.
stuff.
So anyway, you've got
Sorry,
the ability to buy tickets early, even at the kickoff party, and you can, drop them into the vendor show buckets as early as Thursday, and we'll draw that on Saturday. The raffle this year, just so you know, during vendor show is Saturday at 4 p.m. So when you get off your trail, haul butt if you want to be there for the raffle. We're going to be pulling tickets at 4 p.m. to try to get it done before power hour. So if you don't win what you wanted to win, at least you get a chance to go back and buy the part you want at the steepest discount. So, all right.
Sweet.
Okay.
Any questions about trails and guides?
Okay, so Sean Bishop, are you suggesting GMRS, VHF, UHF channels, or only CB channels? Since most guys are using GMRS, VHF, UHF, suggestions would be helpful to help keep duplicate channels to a minimum.
We are not suggesting
VHF, UHF.
millions
Those
of
are-
channels.
And those are licensed
So-
channels. So
and
the
they-
CB is literally an open base for anybody to use. So we can make suggestions on that all we want.
Yeah, but we
But
cannot.
Everything else, you can't touch those because
I-
technically those are licensed.
I
stations.
own licenses for 2 channels, and that's it. And that's very expensive. And if I license channels out for all 48 trails that we decide to
Oh my gosh,
run,
that'd be so much.
it's going to be more money than I can handle. So
Yeah.
we cannot suggest GMRS. We can't. I mean, I know other events do, but they're doing so at their own liability. That's the best way I could put it. Any other questions?
I do have one. It's a little long-winded, so I'm going to chip it into pieces here. So, quick question. How do you feel about skipping 3 monkeys on the special needs run on Wednesday? It basically gets clogged up and they never actually run the entire trail because they get stuck at 3 monkeys and they never get through.
Yeah, we definitely want you to skip
Skip it.
obstacles
Yes.
if you
Especially
feel
for
like
the bigger the obstacle, just keep
special
them
needs
moving.
run.
Yes.
Some people may want to do
May
3
wanna try
monkeys.
it.
That's fine. But to try to put everyone through it, I think it's going to be too much. So as a guide, it's your discretion, which also means if you're in the lineup and say you're on the maze and a dude in an XJ on 31s with 1 locker and no body protection is sitting in your lineup, that's one of those where you can go to Tacoma and say, hey, this guy doesn't belong on my trail, and we'll do what we can to get him on another trail, because obviously that guy doesn't belong on the maze or whatever trail you're guiding. So that is your discretion. It is what it is. Any other questions?
So Jesse White asks, did the tunnel light get installed? I don't know if he's talking about like a stoplight.
Yeah,
No, we're not
we were
doing
trying to
that.
build a stoplight for the tunnel, and no, it did not get installed. It actually got shot down by the state for a couple different reasons, but we're working on alternatives. However, we're going to have crossing guards there during
I'll still be there.
trail
Stop
lineups,
fighting.
and so when we launch, everyone will be, managing traffic in that manner. What other questions before we move on?
Can you explain how the vet access ride will work on Thursday? I signed up and want to take.
We'll get to that in a second.
Want to take a vet with me? Okay.
Okay, we'll get to the vet run in a second.
Yeah, we're good.
So when you go through your driver's meeting, you have to get ready. You have to get your participants ready to go before that 8:55 horn or the 9:55 horn. So please remind people to put their vehicle in four-wheel drive and to air down when they get in your lineup. I'm notorious for forgetting to lock my hubs, and what ends up happening is they sink, and next thing you know, the whole trail gets clogged up, and everyone's trying to get through the tunnel, and everyone gets impatient. Or they get through the tunnel, have to turn left, and they can't make the turn because it's all dug out, and then they're kicking sand into the tunnel, which makes it more difficult for bigger vehicles to get through. So please, we dig out the tunnel every morning. Every afternoon that thing gets filled up. Please make sure to tell your people, lock your hubs and air down while they're in line.
If not, Tacoma will beat you with a cone.
And apparently Tacoma will beat you with a cone if you don't do that.
No,
Oh.
Randy has a question.
So, is that the text message you just sent me?
No, no.
Okay. What?
Aaron has, did anyone talk about, I didn't know if you already talked about this, about how the tunnel will be shut down for people coming into the park during his.
We did say that.
Oh yeah, I basically said that right at the beginning. Like,
Okay.
I went on and said, we're closing it this year, and I want people in their cars, and I want it to move, and I want it to move really fast, just to get everybody out of here, because I'd rather be on the mountain playing than sitting in the parking lot.
Yeah, he jumped the gun.
Yep.
It's okay. I mean, it is what it is. Did
Yeah.
you have any other questions?
That's it.
Okay. So when where Tacoma will beat you with a cone is if you try to leave your trail lineups out of order. There's a method to our madness. We got to get certain trails out that hit different parts of the park, and we want to get them launched and out earlier than trails that are like Milt's Mile that are right close to the tunnel. So guys like Plan B and the Maze and Unforgiven, those guys usually leave the park first because we need to get them up the mountain and out of the way, essentially, so then we can get everyone else moving. So do not leave trail lineups until you are instructed to. If you want to make arrangements, I know some guides like to take their group, if they're doing West Rim, they like to take their group out the front gate instead of through the tunnel and around. All I ask is that you go talk to Aaron and Crystal and Tacoma before you decide, well, we're not going through the tunnel, so we're just going to leave. We cannot have that. We've got to know what's going on. We have to have more control over this. This is not something that I'm just saying we need more control over. This is the state park's new director saying, you need to control this or else you don't get permits. So very big deal to have all this kind of more organized, all right?
Don't be that guy that screws it up for the rest of us.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we won't ask you to guide again.
And if you want to leave out on the highway, let us know very soon, because then I can set up the staging lanes accordingly, because then they can leave even earlier. I can put them right on the end so they just go and
Like
go.
West Rim would be one of those where
Yeah, they can just split out and they're gone, and they don't even affect the rest of the day.
well, and then the problem with that is, by the way, we're just talking this through. You know, the way the staging lanes are, there are vendors now there
Right.
alongside.
Gotta
So
air down,
making
wait
that, they got to air down and then they got to make that turn.
Anybody
And
that wants to leave, they need to be in the back, so that way they can get
so
out easier.
it's going to be
So
a
I need
mess.
to know that, for real, guys. I need you to let me know very soon, because I'm already starting to build my staging lanes and getting things lined out. So if you are a West Rim guide and you're thinking you want to take people out on the highway, send Crystal a message, an email, whatever you need to do,
And we'll plan accordingly.
so I can plan it accordingly and put you towards the back of the lineup, but still at 9 a.m. kickoff or whatever it is.
That's a good point.
Yep.
Any other questions before we?
No, we're good to roll on.
Okay. If you don't make it to the kickoff party, and you still need to say you need to get in later in the afternoon on Tuesday because you're starting to guide trails Wednesday, you'll still need to get a hold of Crystal. She'll still run passes up to you so you can get into your campsite, or she'll send you the volunteer pass to the front gate as well. You will need to still sign waivers and all of that. She'll have all that stuff with her, so she'll help take care of that.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to add?
Nope. I will also be on when we launch trails. I'll be there every
Okay.
morning with Tacoma as well.
Great. I'm going to. I gotta find the app. All right, so we're gonna kind of go through the app real quick and get everyone up to speed on what that looks like. So bear with me here. So here's the app, and we need you to download this. This isn't really like optional. It's mandated by the state as an emergency services line for all of our guides and staff. And so if there's something that happens during the event and I have to get a hold of everyone all at once, this is the only way to do that. So make sure that when you download the app, you push the button that also allows you to get notifications from the app owner. There's another button that says get notifications for every social media post and photo. I would turn that off, but make sure that you get notifications from the app owner. That way we can do what we need to do here. Now, there's a lot of different things to go over with the app. You know, if you guys have done this before, the schedule is very simple. It's very upfront. That's very kind of self-explanatory. Additionally, trail info, there's different, you know, guided trail rides in here that you'll see as well. That's all relatively self-explanatory. Music Fest is what it is. You know, if you want to know about the bands and what they play, that's fine. Updates are where you're really going to get some things during the event. This is where, you know, if somebody's parked in the wrong spot or we need to tow a vehicle because of whatever, those kind of updates will go in here, as well as other opportunities that happen during the event.
Same with Lost and Found. A lot of
And
people
same
get
with
stuff
Lost and Found.
So
Yeah.
yes, if you lost your phone or you lost your keys, your friend could see that it's posted here.
Yep.
So
And then, and same thing, if you find any of this stuff and bring it to us, we will post it in the update section. But this next button here, more, is really where, you know, you guys will be, most of your information will be. In important info, there's, you know, not so important stuff like the power hour deals, which are great, but you know, the big thing is staging locations. If you're broke, or you're, you know, every year people get broke. This will be filled out more, but there will be contact information here where you can get in line with one of our official shops and they'll help fix your vehicle. Some of them will bring a trailer to vendor row, and all we have to do is get it to the bottom of the mountain and they'll load it up and take it to be fixed. That's 23 diesel. You know, there's different facts for anybody that has questions. But the next important one is going to be contacts. So in this, you'll go over emergency contacts. I am what we call a SPOC, which is a single point of contact for emergencies, as long as it's not life-threatening. So somebody breaks a hand, somebody, you know, gets a cut, bangs their head. This is the contact that you should call. That's me. Don't just randomly text me or whatever, please. When you call, be very specific where you're located, what the danger is, and we'll make a call from there, whether we need to elevate it to life-threatening or not. Additionally, guides and staff will click on this. You'll see Crystal's contact here. Of course, if it's life-threatening, you need to call 911. Mapping issues, you'll call Jake. His contact is there. Recovery, so when you get onto the trail and somebody breaks, there's kind of a process that we run, and we'll go into that in a second, but you'll need to call Joe Obremski, which is with Carnage Welder, and he and his recovery crew, sponsored by Warren Winches, will come out and make sure that the vehicle can get off the trail. Obviously, we want to make sure that the vehicle can get uprighted as quick as possible if you have the ability to do that. But if you break a U-joint or whatever, let's get the vehicle pulled aside, call the recovery crew, and we'll try to get it fixed or whatever, and we'll kind of go into that detail in a little bit. And same with welding specifically, it's Joe Obremski as well. So that's kind of the super necessary information that you need in the app, and we can go into the app a little bit more in a second. But if somebody breaks on your trail, the process is first get them out of the way and off the trail to a safe location. Leave one of the guides with the broken participant and try to get it fixed if it's something that can be fixed quickly. While you do that, go ahead with your remaining guides and get the remaining vehicles through the trail, just as you would if the guy didn't break. The guide who is with the broken vehicle, if it's something you guys cannot fix, give Joe Obremski a call from our contact list, and he will get recovery crew into place and extract the vehicle and the person and get them down the mountain. So if it's something you can fix it. If it's something you can't fix, just get Joe on the horn and he'll come over and help you guys out. Do not leave the vehicle or the participant in place. Come up with a plan with Joe and his team and a path forward and execute. There has been times in the past where the vehicle broke big enough to where you couldn't extract the vehicle or it wasn't done in a timely manner. In that case, we'll leave the vehicle in its place on the trail. The participants will jump in with you or some of the other people and we'll get them down the mountain, at which point Joe and the guys, you'll need to be very explicit as to where the vehicle is so Joe and the guys can get it and try to get it down the mountain. And it might be a struggle, obviously, but that's kind of the plan.
Cost for that extraction?
There is no cost for the extraction unless you call Matt from Matt's Off-Road Recovery or Casey from Casey's Off-Road Recovery or one of those guys. And we also have Rory that's coming who's going to be helping us as well. But there is no cost. It's a free service that Carnage Welder puts together for all of our participants. And that goes for guides too. Guides, if you break, which it happens, same service. That's when these guys buy a guided trail ride pass, they're basically buying insurance coverage. So when they break on the trail, they know that we're going to get them down the mountain safely. So that's part of being a guide, and that's part of the service that you're not just out there showing people how to get through an obstacle. We're ensuring that they not only get through the obstacle, but they get back safely. Once they get down the mountain or to a place where we can get a trailer to them, that's where they need to call 23 Diesel or Sandhall Off-Road and figure it out on their own. At which point, there are a couple different companies like O'Reilly and Napa in town, Tinks Auto Parts, which will run parts out to the vendor show, and we can then run parts up to the trail if needed. But it's a very fluid situation. We're just doing everything we can to make sure the vehicle and the participants are safe, feel comfortable, and get off the mountain. So that means not leaving them in the middle of the desert.
Is Casey's Off-Road also still helping us this year?
Yeah, and Casey's Off-Road Recovery will be on site doing recoveries. They'll be primarily in the park, but if they're needed on the mountain, that's not a big deal. And then, of course, the Carnage Welder guys.
Right.
And then Rory Irish from
Yes.
the Moab store.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tomato.
Yeah,
Mater. Yeah.
Mater Off-Road.
Plus, we'll have Mike DeMont. He's always helped
Mike,
us from
yep,
J8
yep.
Fabrications.
He'll
So
be out there as well. And so we've got a rather large recovery crew. I think it's 15, 20 vehicles deep. So just know that that's kind of our process for that. There's a question.
Yeah, so Jeff made a good point. Text Joe sorry, comments keep coming and it keeps jumping on me. Text Joe a picture of the map to show your location to him so he knows where to jump into the trail to get you, which is a great idea.
That's a great idea.
Say you're in the middle of Double Sammy,
Right.
is it faster to come in backwards to get you?
Yeah.
That way it tells them, or even through 777s or wherever, they can come get you way quicker if you show them exactly where you are. So I think
drop a
that's
pin.
a great idea, Jeff.
Yep.
Right. I was going to comment on your emergency contact spots because last year, like if you guys, if it is an emergency and they need to call you and you don't answer, I've had people in the past call me and tell me, and then I call Rich and then Rich will then call you because, Rich does have a lot going on throughout the event. And so that has happened in the past. So like if Rich doesn't answer your phone, call me immediately and then I will get in touch with Rich. Rich will then call you and then you guys can talk about the emergency that's at hand.
Yep.
So there is that as well.
Any other questions?
Sorry, I'm doing.
Can we-
David Lamb asked for I put the link in for the Trail
Yap app?
Hero. Yes, Yap app, and it didn't work. So I just did it on my computer and it worked. And then you got to scan the QR code on your screen with your phone, David, to get it to download onto your phone.
Right.
It'll probably be easier if you do that if you don't have a computer. Your phone should directly go to it, but if not, go into just your app store and just put in Yap app and then just find the Trail Hero from there. But the link should work. I don't know why. It worked on my computer.
All right. So, what's up?
And then Michael Randall is asking if BFG Garage will be on site.
BFG Garage will not be on site during Trail Hero. That's now 2 years in a row that they're not going to be on site. If there are no other questions, the maps for guides got sent out today.
Yes.
So make sure you see that in your email. If it's not in your email, check your other email.
I will also blast out the instructions as well. So I will send the whole entire instructions and everything that goes along with that from Jake and Jennifer. I will be sending that out as soon as this is over to every single email contact that I have.
Additionally, the hardcore map did not get sent out today. That is 100% my fault. I still have 3 routes that I have to record to add to the hardcore pass map. So.
Are you busy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just put in 65 T stakes today at the
What
state
for?
park for an RC car track that I don't even have an RC car.
Well, you do. It's more of a wall art up there.
Yeah. So anyway, we're incredibly busy. This weekend I literally go run the trail because it's way quicker. But I haven't gotten a chance to go do that yet. So there's three maps that they're waiting on from me. So whatever.
So he is 100% correct. I cannot click on the link and have it work on my phone.
Okay.
Okay,
So
we'll look into
just
it.
write it down on a piece of paper and just put it into your browser and it'll pop it up.
One of the things to
Sorry.
do here, cover. Let's see here. Yeah.
Go to that. Yes.
Yeah. So that is the link right there. my.yap.us/ all capitals Trail Hero. And I would imagine that's why.
Right. That's what it is.
That's what it is. Okay. Well.
Yeah, and like you click on it and all it does is bring my name up. It doesn't actually give you
Interesting.
the link to be able to click on it. So
Okay.
yeah, you're gonna have to just write it in.
Yep.
Apparently that's not working. Maybe through this service or something.
All right. Well.
Weird. Mine's
Well,
working on my phone.
It might be because you already have it.
Maybe.
All right. So we will post the link in the guides section to make sure that you get that.
Yes.
All right. With camping this year, there is a lot of room for camping because of the water lines or the water depth. However, it's still going to be tight. There are a lot of people that camp in the guide section. We have 2 to 4 camp hosts, one of which will be in the guides area, helping people get into camp there. But understand that there are no corrals in the guide area, or really at all at the event. We pack them in pretty tight and try to get everyone in. So if you're planning on having a corral, sorry, it's not going to work out that way. There is common areas where you can hang out, like the bonfire. There's 2 different locations for bonfires this year. One is a typical location between trail lineups and the Music Fest. The other one is on the beach with UTV Town. They've got a bunch of great guides and a bunch of cool things happening every night there, and you can definitely hang out there. You don't have to drive a UTV to hang out with those guys. As far as staff camping, it opens Sunday. We'll have an easy up with 2 ladies stopping to ask you if you're staff and make sure you get pointed in the right direction, and then just make sure that when you guys camp that you kind of keep the campers as tight as possible, because it's just where we're at.
And they may even drive down there with them and get them in locations, just like last year.
Yep.
It'll be the same 2 people doing it again, getting everyone in line. And yeah, so we'll have between, John Brownwood, he's actually going to help out with the campground host, I do believe.
Yep.
Scott Cunningham is also another one. So if these guys say, hey, you guys need to change, you guys need to be a little bit tighter or whatever, please listen to them, because if not, then they're going to come to me, and then you get to deal with me. And then if you don't deal with me, then you get to deal with Rich. And
You don't want to deal with me.
I'm actually nicer.
Well, during the event, I have a lot going on, so
please just be considerate of everybody. There is still quiet time in staff camping.
Yep, 10 o'clock. Even though there's activities and everything else going a lot later than that, and probably Thursday, Friday, Saturday, music that you could hear past 10, the campgrounds are all 10 o'clock quiet time. So, and
So
definitely
move down to those parties.
no open fires, no fireworks, and of course you would imagine this would be a no-brainer, but it's been an issue in the past. Do not, under any circumstances, dump your black water tank
Or gray water
in the beach or in your spot. There are dump sites all over the park where you can dump for free. So don't do that.
Just
Someone
please
actually
keep
did
it.
get fined last year.
Yeah.
Please keep it clean. Like, we still all end up cleaning it after the event, but the more you keep it clean throughout the event,
The better
the
it
better
will.
the better that it helps everybody out.
Yeah. And then guides, you get 1 VIP pass for Music Fest if that's your thing. But your spouse or guests will need to buy their pass. However, there's a discount for that. And that's only because of the stipulations that the artist put on us as to how many passes we can give out and all of that. And so the discount that your spouse gets, that's basically our piece of the puzzle that gets taken out, and the remaining amount that you have to pay goes to the artist. And that's kind of the way it works.
And we'll post that link too in the comments after as well. So we have that.
All right, so any questions?
So, just a good comment here. So, if you have previously been a guide and you have gotten your guides before, go into your account and Jake just automatically updates those maps. So go in there and check, and there's probably an update for your maps as of right now. So Jeff just said, I never got an email, but I went into my account and the maps were there.
Yep.
So just go into your account and log in, and you'll get your new map.
That will be the exact same once Rich gets the 4 trails that Jake's waiting on. So Jake and I actually just talked about this. So when
And then it'll update again.
Yes, it will update again, and like that stuff will be there or whatnot.
So the week before Trail Hero, go in and refresh everything, and then you know you've got the
Yeah,
thing.
and the blast email will go out, like I said, after this, because I literally just got off the phone with Jake. Like, I got the email from Jake as I was walking into this meeting.
Because he said, y'all should get an email from Crystal.
Yep.
And people wanting to know what new trails we have, there is Monsters Incorporated, which is rated 14, Brass Chain rated 13, Dominguez Falls, which is rated an 8, possibly a 9. The Trailbreaker will be on the Hardcore Pass for the most part. We'll try to. That'll be on the Hardcore Pass after the event.
We haven't gotten that far yet. We don't have time.
We can't do that.
Yeah.
The Triple Jointed, which is 9 rated trail. Broken Milts, which has actually been on the mountain for a little bit, but we just got around to mapping it. That's 9 rated trail. Dead Broke, which is a 7 rated trail. And then Sanitarium, which is a 9 rated trail. And then to the Hardcore Pass, there will also be Dysfunctional added as well, kind of giving you an idea of that. So those are the trails getting added. They are all 7 rated trails or higher. The main mountain map will feature Dead Broke for sure, outside of the Hardcore Pass. All these other trails will only be on the Hardcore Pass until after the event, and then they'll be on the mountain map after. So
yeah, and it will notify them when there's an update. That's exactly what Jake said. So
all right, so we're gonna go over, if there's no questions, are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay, we're gonna quickly go over some of the trail restrictions or things to consider as you're guiding. To do this, we're literally going to go through every trail that we have. So some of these may not pertain to you, but understand it's still necessary information, and whatever, use it however you wish. So 4x4 101 training is good and clear. You're meeting at the corner parking lot. Dinosaur Tracks, you're meeting at the Dino Mart in Hurricane. Top of the World Kids Access Run, we're meeting at Lonnie Boys. Milt's Mile Light. Oh, by the way, for the Top of the World Kids Access, if you are not guiding trails, we could definitely use your help with taking kids on the mountain. Every year, for whatever reason, we only have maybe 5 or 6 vehicles sign up for helping on this trail, but we definitely have 30 kids that need rides, plus the chaperones. And so the rule is for every child has to have a chaperone with it, or every two children have to have chaperones. So you can't just take a child, but you can just take a chaperone. So if you're in a 2-seat vehicle, we still need your help bringing supplies and food and stuff on the trail. But what we really need are the 4-seat or 5-seat vehicles, so we can kind of pack it in and get more kids on the mountain. So, and that's the whole chaperone thing is for your protection. I promise you, it's part of what we need to do. And they won't let a kid go without a chaperone.
well, and also some of those chaperones have never done this.
Right.
There are a few of them that I know that say, I want to go, because I know, some of the kids we take out are from Valley Academy as well.
Yep.
And some of those teachers are like, hey, how do I get to go? And I'm like, just say you got to go be a chaperone. So a lot of them haven't even done it themselves.
Milt's Mile Light, you're meeting at Lynn's Grocery. Resurrection, there are 2 Resurrection trails running on Tuesday. One is a Maxxis Tires Media Run. That starts at 9. They have their own guides. Don't worry about that. The other is, stages at 9:30 and departs at 10. You guys should never see each other, just so you guys know. Warren's World, all those guides are provided by Warren. West Rim, all these that I'm going over now are staged at the beach. West Rim stages at the beach. Plan B is good. There's nothing in particular about Dead Broke. And I'm just kind of going over these trails because it's it helps me figure out like, oh, this is a trail that we have to talk about. And if you have any questions about your trail specifically, now's the time to put it in there. 777's movie run, stages at 5, departs at 5:30. They're running 777s all the way to the end. Double Sammy, Papa Smurf, the ledges, the maze, all typical setups, right? If you feel like guys are having a hard time getting to the top of the dunes, maybe it's plan B or whatever, the ledges, the maze, there are other ways to get to the back of the park. You don't have to go through the main dunes to get there. So if it's hot out or you think that it's going to be an issue with blowing motors or whatever to get to the top of the dunes, consider that ahead of time and choose your route, whether it's going down to the Green Gate and heading up that way to the back of the park, which is a lot easier on vehicles. Take the time to do that. We're letting you launch early to go on those trails for that reason. You don't have to be in a hurry. You don't have to take the dunes. Take a different route to the back of the park if you feel it's necessary. Dominguez Falls, we are only running this one day of the event. It's new. We just added it. Stages at 2:30, departs at 3 o'clock. That just got added. The Fallen Intermediate class, this class is based on both Jeeps and buggies that want to learn how to push their vehicles a little bit more to the extreme. The Fallen has a 6 rated bypass throughout the whole trail. This is a great opportunity for you to learn how to off-road and push yourself a little bit more. So if you are a guide that typically is on Resurrection or Warren's World or West Rim, this is a good opportunity for you to learn a little bit. I suggest taking the class.
Where does that stage at?
That stage is at the corner parking lot. And both of our training classes, whether it's the 4x4 101 or the Fallen Intermediate class, those are hosted by trainers who travel here or do this for a living, and so the entry fees that go to those classes are going straight to the instructors. It's not something that we can comp you. So if you want to take like the Fallen Intermediate class, I suggest you actually go sign up for it. We can't comp you. That's just not the way it works. Twister, TNT Extended, Joint Effort, Arrowhead, all that's the same stuff that has always happened. There's usually nothing new about that. All of the side-by-side trails, unless you're on night run, stages at 8:30, leaves at 9, and the only one to think about, essentially, we've got Top of the World, which what I want you to do there is go out West Rim, run basically West Rim Light, get to Top of the World, play in the dunes, have a good time on Competition Hill, make the trail about 2.5-3 hours long, and then head on in. And that's reasonable for the side-by-sides or any of our Top of the World trails. There's not a specific route that we take. It's more just a tour of the mountain of sorts. If you want to stop at Flintstone House or Hobbit House or some of the cool places, you're at your own discretion to do so. And then side-by-side Slipwalk / John's Trail. You're doing the first half of Slipwalk Gulch and then John's Trail. So don't jump right out onto John's Trail. You're going to just go run Slipwalk and then run John's Trail. Any questions so far?
Just a few interesting questions. Dominguez Falls won't be on the main map, correctly? That's on hardcore for the beginning?
No, we can, Dominguez Falls will be on only the hardcore map this year.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
That's what I thought. And then next year it'll be dropped onto the normal main map.
Correct. Yeah, the only trail that's getting put on the main map this year is Dead Broke.
Okay.
What else?
I think I answered the other ones, so I think we're good. roll on.
Well, what other questions are there? Because
So-
we have to answer this
So
for
we
YouTube.
want to camp with the homies. Do we need to roll in together? I told them yes,
Yes.
that would be best.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you're staff and you want to camp with your friends that are camping outside of staff, you have to pay to camp outside of staff. Your friends can't camp in staff unless they are
Helping.
actually helping the event. If you want to camp with your homies and you're all staff, not a problem. Move in together to make sure you're next to each other.
Because if you're going to save spots, I'm going to come and tell you no.
Yeah, we are not saving spots. Any other questions?
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
Roll on.
Tokerville Falls, guides, I would like you to make sure that you go up to the radio towers as well and check out that scenic viewpoint. That's typically the way we run the Tokerville Falls deal. If you're running the night Tokerville Falls evening run, the idea is that you go check out the falls first, and then you get up to the radio towers by sunset to watch the sunset, and then you finish coming back in. So that's kind of the way we plan that Tokerville Falls evening run. Mild Smile Light. Oh, what?
I was do you want to say where the Tokerville Falls is staging from?
Good call. Tokerville Falls is staging from the Maverick gas station in Laverkin.
Which has been there every year. hasn't
It's
it?
been there every
Yes.
year. Yeah, but there's some other trails that stage in places that haven't been. So, and we're going to get into that. So, Mild Smile Light for special needs run is at Lonnie Boys. Again, we need vehicles for that. So if you're not guiding a trail and you want to help out, we could definitely use some help taking participants on the mountain. All of our participants this year are from Red Rock Center of Independence, like years past. It's one of the highlights of their year, and so it's imperative that we have enough seats for them. On that day, we do not have the restrictions that we do with the kids. So if you have a two-seater and you want to take somebody out, that's a perfect opportunity to do so. West Rim Light is in a new location this year.
Well, the staging lane isn't it, or the staging isn't a new location.
Yeah, sorry. The staging is in a new location this year, which is called the Maverick Gas Station. This is basically down, how do I put this?
Is that the corner?
East. So,
Or is that the Walmart one?
I don't know which one's east. Hold on.
I know, I was like, I don't remember which one's which.
East would be the one on the corner.
The corner one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me find this again. Sorry, guys. West Rim Light, Maverick gas station is going to be at the Maverick next to what do you call it? Next to Walmart. Okay. And then
That would be, yes, that would be Maverick West.
yeah. And then then Razzle Dazzle is going to station at Maverick East, which is in downtown Hurricane
In the corner.
at the corner as you're on your way to Laverkin.
I was thinking it was across from the park, but it's not across from the park. That's where the old one used to be.
Right.
So you have to run the corner.
In both of these occasions, the staging address will be on your roster that is sent to you. But it's also, if you're guiding this and you want to know the particulars, Crystal can send you the address
Yes.
at any time. Warren's World, Plan B, those are two trails that, again, typical. The Ram Rally, what we're calling Slippery Johns, is the first half of Sliplock and then Johns Trail. That's just a combination, we're calling it Slippery Johns. Know that Ram Rally leaves at 9 o'clock for the first half of Sliplock and then to Johns Trail. Then Sliplock Gulch is also running. That leaves at 10 o'clock. So by the time you get off of by the time Ram Rally gets off of Sliplock Gulch, the trail Sliplock Gulch will then start. So it should be pretty good. You guys should never touch each other. However, Johns Trail is also running that day. So by the time Ram Rally gets to Johns Trail guided tour should have already been all the way, or not all the way, but considerably further down the trail. and Ram Rally will then start Johns Trail and essentially have a second flight down Johns Trail. So something to consider. Basically, if you're John Van Wagner, who does the Ram Rally trails, that's how it goes. You guys that are doing guiding Sliplock Gulch and Johns Trail, you just run it like you have every year. No big deal. Double Sammy, Unforgiven, Risky Business, Front Range, all trails that have no particular notes to them. Although if you have any questions, please let us know. The Aqua Jeep Triple Jointed Trail. This is a new trail that we're guiding this year with the Aqua Jeep fam. We put together this route. This is basically it bypasses the first part of triple sevens, jumps into triple sevens, essentially right at the fins. You go up the fins, then you jump onto a portion of joint effort, then you cross Double Sammy and War Machine, work your way up past War Machine, and then drop into joint effort, kind of backwards, and finish out the rest of the trail. That route is very specific and will be on the map, but it's definitely difficult to explain without showing you guys. Aaron, did we have any questions? You look like...
Oh, I'm literally adjusting my trail numbers.
Oh.
By that conversation you just had with them, and I'm like, okay, I should probably move that one from 18 to 16,
yep.
So they leave a little earlier. And so there was something, squirrel. So with the raffle being at 4 o'clock on Saturday, can a guide cut roller coaster short on Saturday if needed to get everyone back for the raffle? So if need be, can any guide at any point cut it short to make sure they're back to town in time for the raffle?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of your discretion. Most people will want to be back for the raffle, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I've talked about it with the participants as well.
And to be honest, with the way the trails are and the participant population limits, typically that's a 4 to 5 hour trail. So even if you start at 10 o'clock, you should be done by 3 o'clock. So you should be able to make, unless something catastrophic happens, at which point everyone will want to come in anyway. So no, I don't think anybody wants to be stranded on the trail. And if they don't like being cut off and coming in early, just have them give me a call and I'll deal with it. Dysfunctional is definitely a weird trail that we're going to be guiding. That's Simon who's doing it. It's basically all the hard obstacles on 777s. We're not guiding 777s that day, or all the side obstacles to 777s. So we're not guiding that trail that day. It should work out pretty well. Plus, that's the only trail that leaves at 11 a.m., so kind of after everyone else.
So real quick comment, if they are coming in on Friday or Saturday before the event, who do they contact? Josh put on there to contact Crystal if you come in a couple days early and want to help set up.
Yep, if you want to help set up early, contact Crystal. Your campsite, as with the event, does not start till Sunday though. Yep. So don't come early thinking that you're going to get in a campsite unless you've already reserved it.
Right, if you're already in a spot and you're there, you can just come to the Coke trailer on Friday morning and Saturday morning at 9 a.m.
Yep.
And we will start setting up and building starting at 9 a.m. Friday and Saturday. So feel free just to show up even, and we'll be there.
And we can definitely use the help.
Yep.
Absolutely.
The Fallen chain reaction declined, broken chain. There's no notes about that, and same with all the side-by-side trails for Wednesday. Quickly going through this, Tokoro Falls, we've gone through Milts and West Rim. We've gone through the Fallen Light Veterans Run. You guys are basically running all the bypasses to the Fallen Trail. We have a lot of veterans that come out. We had a question about veterans earlier. What was the question? I think you're bringing your own veteran to ride with you, which is perfectly fine.
Oh yeah. That was
We'll have
on a different.
Yep, we'll have waivers for everyone to sign. They're on site. The nice thing about that is we've got breakfast and lunch that will be set up for the veterans. We're working on shirts. Some things kind of went wonky with some of the shirts, so that may not happen like it has in the past, but doing our best to get that handled. Any other questions?
So Joey says, what would you say the rating for the Aqua Jeep Trail ride is?
It is easily a 9 trail. And when I say 9, it's not like the Fallen 9 where there's only one obstacle. In my opinion, that's really a 9 rated obstacle.
The whole thing is a 9.
Just about the whole thing is a 9 rated trail. So don't go on that trail thinking it's going to be the same level of difficulty as the Fallen. It is exponentially more difficult than the Fallen. It's essentially that crack at the end of the Fallen is the reason why that the Fallen is rated 9. Every obstacle is that level of difficulty and that level of possibility for body damage. And so that's how we rate it, is the hardest obstacle, but that's pretty typical for the entire trail.
If you're not willing to run
Nasty half,
joint effort, and chain reaction, you don't want to be on that trail.
right. So definitely a difficult trail.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Hold on, I moved.
Okay.
Oh, I don't think Simon is guiding that.
Okay. Simon, somebody's guiding.
Yeah, somebody's.
He's talking about dysfunctional.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like, I'm lost now.
All right, so Ram Rally is running Fault Line. That's basically, they're going to run Fault Line Trail, probably Razorback, and then jump on the rest of Fault Line, which kind of mirrors West Rim as well. The way it's all set up is Ram Rally will basically fall in line behind the Geeks 4x4 run on West Rim that day. They'll be roughly an hour and a half behind, and kind of the top of Fault Line kind of mirrors West Rim in a couple spots. So Plan B, Dead Broke, is good. Risky Business does have a new updated map. So there's a couple new obstacles that has kind of been broken open for Risky Biz. You can check out the map if you want to run those. I think they're listed as optionals, but it may just be the entire map being updated. Melt Smile, 777s, Double Sammy, all the same stuff. We do run a Double Sammy night run this year. You're just running the regular trail. And of course, if you feel like the trail is going a little too long, you can skip certain obstacles, maybe get up to the chute a little quicker by skipping like the last 2 or 3 obstacles that, the original trail runs.
Pop around the back.
Yep. Papa Smurf, great. Faulty Towers is not a new trail, but it's a trail that we are now running again this year by the Aqua Jeep group. No real notes or changes to what that is. Sanitarium is a very difficult 9 rated trail. So if you plan to run that as a guide, just jumping on it, understand that it's a lot more difficult than you would think. And as a 9 rated trail, it's probably the hardest 9 rated trail that we have. The Fallen Veterans Run, same notes as the Fallen Light Veterans Run. If you have a veteran that wants to ride with you, great, bring them. If you're a veteran yourself and you want to be on the run, that's awesome. We'd love to have you. We don't always have a ton of veterans that don't have vehicles or don't have rides already. The reason for that is, as much as we reach out to the VA and some of the other veterans groups and veteran homes, a lot of veterans get pretty bad anxiety about getting into new situations. And even though, like, as of right now, I have a list of 45 veterans that are planning to be on that run, there's a good possibility that 40 of them don't show up. And it's just what happens every year. And so Every year, sometimes we get the same guys on the trail, and every year they back out last minute, and it's just kind of.
Just don't come expecting to be
Yeah.
hosting a veteran.
Right.
Yep.
Your participation is appreciated, but
Chain reaction, roller coaster, routes haven't changed. Nasty hole. So on, what's traditionally nasty half, we don't want you to run just the half portion of the trail. We want you to run the entire trail. That includes nasty hole. Now there's two nasty holes. One is the left line through the crack, halfway through nasty, or at the end of nasty half. You're not running that. You're running the full nasty half trail, then you're dropping back in on what would be Milt's Mile. You're going to go up 3 Monkeys, turn left, or continue straight and run the rest of that canyon. That's the end of nasty hole. Once you pop out at the dunes, from there, if you want to turn right and go through Ex-Wife and then Alimony, that's on you and your group, but that's not mandated. We just want you to finish what it was nasty half and then nasty hole.
I love those.
I'm not going to go into the history behind it.
I just loved them.
They just nasty.
It was a dark time in my life.
I helped with that decision.
Yeah, that was definitely you. That was not my idea.
That was me.
When we get to the side-by-side trails, bobsled / top of the world. So this is where, and there's another. There's both a side-by-side trail for this and a Jeep trail, so if you can, please listen into this. So the bobsled portion, then top of the world. We want to basically take this trail over to the route called bobsled, which is just a fun zigzag way up the mountain. We want to go up that hill, up bobsled, and then once you get to the top of that, you'll essentially take West Rim Light over to top of the world, then play in the dunes, have a good time, and then come back. So that goes for both bobsled / top of the worlds. It sounds like we have a question or a comment.
A comment. Is there a way to maybe contact any of these veterans beforehand to set a rapport with them, veteran to veteran? This is from Lee Giddings. I would love to have one in my passenger seat, but always fall short.
Right. We do. We have people who do that. It just is what it is, and I know that sucks, but I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
It's not. We're not going to force something that we can't.
Yeah, right. And we're in constant contact with kind of the leader of these different groups of veterans, and at the end of the day, it just kind of falls apart. But nonetheless, to be honest, I don't care if it's one veteran we take out, it's worth it. And so that's the way we build it out. That's our thought. And to be honest, we every year, last year we refunded and or gave away tickets to, if I remember right, over 1,500 veterans for either the guided trails, refunded them for their Thursday run, or gave them the free veterans tickets for the music festival. And that's all 3 days of the event. So our veteran outreach program at this point in year 9 has reached over 5,000 veterans. And then our special needs outreach program has reached over 1,000 people with special needs. And so, but if it were just one, it's worth it. And it's just the way I feel about it. So I'm sorry that you can't always have somebody ride with you. I know that you kind of get amped to do that and to share the experience that you love, but it just doesn't always work out that way. All right, the rest of the side-by-side trails are what they are. If you guys have any questions, let me know. The one trail that we're going to kind of touch on here, Ram Rally again, we're calling it the Dino Honey Goose Trail. You're going to do, you're meeting at Main Street Cafe, you're going to the Dinosaur Tracks site through Sky Ranch. There's too many Sky things.
I know, I was thinking too.
Yeah. So you're going to go through Sky Ranch, which is essentially on the side of the mountain from that side of town that Main Street Cafe is on. You go through Sky Ranch, go to the actually past the Honeymoon Trail exit. You're going to go to the dinosaur tracks, check those out, then jump over to Honeymoon Trail, run up Honeymoon Trail, go out to Gooseberry Mesa. This route, for the most part, is on the CartoTrax map, so check that out. Of course, that's John Van Wagner, and he's pretty familiar with the area, but it's still good to talk about.
There is no trailer staging at Sky Ranch.
And right, there is no trailer staging downtown, so make sure that
And
whatever.
you can no longer park where we used to park.
That's
Right.
what I meant.
You have
Yeah.
to drive all the way out.
You got to
there.
go drive further
Uh-huh.
for trailer staging.
Yep.
Resurrection, Warren's World, West Rim, Plan B, Slip Block, Dead Broke, Milt's Mile, John's Trail, we've all talked about. Now, double, triple, and triple double. This is a thing that we're trying. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, we'll never do it again. But as locals, a lot of times we're not running one trail. We like to bounce from trail to trail, kind of like a ski resort. You don't always run the same route. You kind of jump around. And so at this point, you know, we all know that double Sammy and triple sevens has an intersection. This year we're going to try to run double triple and separately triple double. So what that means is we're going to run the first half of double Sammy and the last half of triple sevens. That's why double comes first before triple. That's one trail. And then separately, we're going to run triple double, which means we run the first half of triple sevens and the last half of double Sammy. So the idea is that typically the trails do this, and now the trails are going to go like that and never cross.
I think it's going to be awesome.
I think it's going to be different and fun, and we do it as locals. It is clear as mud. So if you guys have any questions, we can definitely dive in more about this, probably on a more private level, because there's only 2 trails this whole week that do this, and we don't want to gum up all the time. So we'll dive into that later. Ledges, Front Range, Maze, Papa Smurf, Unforgiven, The Fallen, Chain Reaction. I do want to talk about Chain Reaction. So Chain Reaction, the first 2 obstacles, if you've guided Chain Reaction in the past, the first 2 obstacles are getting more and more dug out. You know, I used to be able to do it fairly simple, and now it's a struggle to get a vehicle through. It's exponentially difficult if you don't have rear steer. I would say that the first 2 obstacles of Chain Reaction are more than a 9 rated obstacle. I would call them 10 rated obstacles, which means if you're guiding a 9 rated trail, you should really consider skipping those 2 obstacles so that you're not sitting on them all day waiting and trying to get people through 2 obstacles with recoveries and breakage and whatnot. I think that puts those 2 obstacles put that trail at a much more difficult rating because of how they've evolved, the obstacles themselves. So my suggestion to you, if you're guiding Chain Reaction, skip the first 2 obstacles. Then you have Joint Effort, War Machine, no news there. Night Run for side-by-sides on Top of the World. You know, you're leaving from UTV Town. All night runs with side-by-sides leave from UTV Town. You're meeting at 6, departing at 6:30. The night run for Top of the World is literally just go have fun on the mountain, do a mountain tour, play in the dunes, make your trail ride very flowy, meaning, you know, fun and just fast, and have a good time. So try to make that trail ride somewhere around 2.5 to 3 hours by going to Top of the World, playing in the dunes, hitting Comp Hill, that kind of thing. And of course, the sunset at Top of the World is an excellent photo op, so try to get your guys up there for that during that time.
That one too, on Friday, that Top of the World night run is actually done by Mike Stump from Mega Whips. So he actually has like this cool map thing that he's doing the lighting.
He lights the trail up and has these beacons that he drives through, which is really cool.
So he's going to have a really cool
So he's bringing all the lights.
obstacle course, we'll call it, or whatnot. But yeah, so I just wanted to note that really quick.
East Rim, and then side-by-side landslide. So Landslide is a 7 rated trail. We just, I went out with some of the St. George Jeepers last year, and we found a 5 rated route through Landslide. We're calling Landslide Light. It's a tongue twister.
I was like, that's a mouthful.
Yeah. And so anyway, that's it's on the maps. It should be a fun run. Again, slip lock, side-by-side slip lock / John's Trail. You're doing the first half of slip lock and then jumping into John's Trail. So if there's any questions about that stuff, please let us know.
So Eric says, the map that is in the app under Get to Town with an Off-Road Vehicle is out of date. It shows the old Sand Hollow Road heading around the east side of the lake and over towards Hurricane Airport. SR7 has replaced that route. Are OHVs allowed on SR7? No.
Good question. So DOT and Highway Patrol will tell you that no off-road vehicles are allowed on SR7. However, the legal requirement for, and this is very important for you to be able to defend yourself, the legal requirement for off-road vehicles to not be on a highway is that it is an all-encompassing 4-lane divided highway with on-ramps and off-ramps. At which point, SR7 is never one of those, except for a brief time past the airport.
Yeah.
So you're very, very south. You can get cited for being on SR7. You can fight it, and you will win. Ask me how I know.
But you will be at court to win.
But you will have to be at court to win it. So
Yes.
I don't suggest you go on 7. You can go on 9. You can go around. There is, the nice thing is there is nothing telling you though that, besides the cops, that are telling you can't be on 7. So, and for those of you who do not know what SR7 is, that's the road that splits the lake or the state park from the mountain.
Is it called Southern Parkway also?
It's also called Southern Parkway, yes.
Okay.
Milt Smile Ladies Run is for side-by-sides and for the
Milton Mimosas.
yeah, for the main run. Even though it's listed twice, they're both leaving at the same time, but the side-by-sides are doing their trail. They're leaving first. Then the full-size vehicles will leave on their trail. In both occasions, if you're a guy on the trail, you need to probably be wearing a skirt and a wig. It's just the way it works. If you're not a woman, look like one.
If it's the side-by-side, it is absolutely a rule.
It is,
You will be.
yeah. And that goes,
It goes the same with the Jeep, with
And-
the 4x4 run as well.
the reason for that is the ladies require that. So we support it. They don't want to be told by a bunch of dudes how to drive. So you get to sit in the passenger seat and do your part.
Sit down, shut up.
On Saturday, one of the trails that I want to talk about is Nephi Twist. Nephi Twist is the route that goes from basically the ledges above Laverkin and kind of runs along those ledges and then drops down to the, what is that called? The actual creek. Laverkin Creek.
Creek, I
Yeah, I
believe,
think it's
yeah.
what, yeah.
Which we locals call the trail Rattlesnake Gulch.
Is it Ash Creek?
Now, no, it's not Ash Creek.
Yeah,
Ash Creek goes the other way.
other side.
So
Okay.
the deal with this is, as an event, that's fine. As an event, Aaron's eating my pistachios.
I'm starving. I'm
So
sorry.
as an event, we are only permitted to bring participants to the river. We cannot cross the river. If you and your crew want to keep going, that is outside of the event. So know that your guided trail ride goes to the river and then it turns around and turns back. If you guys make a conscious effort or a conscious decision that you want to proceed up the creek and do Rattlesnake Gulch as well, that is on your own accord. We support you. We think it's great. I think it's awesome if you want to take the guys up there. There's definitely not a problem with it. However, you're not necessarily permitted with the event. So what we need you to do is basically tell people the Trail Hero Guided Trail Ride ends here. If you want to keep going upriver, we'll go upriver if that's what you want to do as a guide. And if not, we'll turn around and head back. And it's that simple. It just is what it is. It's part of one of the weird rules with BLM, not having guided trail rides cross rivers. But there's nothing saying you can't do it on your own accord. So, any questions?
Jake just said Rattlesnake Gulch is on the same map as Nephi's
and Tokoro Falls.
Okay, good. Going from there, let's see. Plan B, Dead Broke, Milk Smile, John's Trail, Double Sammy, Triple Sevens, Papa Smurf. All of those are good. There are no other notes for the rest of the trails that we haven't already covered.
Correct.
So, one thing that I would like every guide and staff to do, this would be a huge help with the event. It boosts our numbers and it makes the event really look good, but at the same time, it's a cool experience. Please take time between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. to go over to Kawasaki and Yamaha and go on some of their ride and drives. It's completely free. All you have to do is have a driver's license, and you can jump on in their vehicles, tour around the mountain, check out the vehicles themselves. But every one of those helps, every one of those ride and drives helps give those guys a reason to be at Trail Hero.
Don't they require closed-toed shoes?
They do require closed-toe shoes and pants. And then they also require long-sleeve shirts, gloves, helmet. However, they have long-sleeve shirts, gloves, and helmet for you to use. So all you need are pants and closed-toed shoes. And you can go wheeling in somebody else's rig. They're going to tour you around the mountain real quick. It takes 30 minutes to 45 minutes to just go have fun, and that includes all the little things that they say before and after. But it would be a huge benefit to the event that you guys get out there and experience those things. And it's free.
Yeah, I was like, and it's free.
And so it's pretty cool.
You can drive it like a rental?
Yep. Yeah.
See? There you go.
So please do that. And then you have some things you want to go over with the raffle tickets.
So I'll have all of the staff volunteers raffle tickets. So every year, beginning when we start setting up, I keep track of who's helping set up. If it's banners, if it's bike rail, whatever it is in the very beginning to the very end. So I have our own volunteer raffle tickets that you guys can use on Saturday during the raffle. So I will have those for everyone. So if for every guided trail you guide, you'll get a raffle ticket for every day. And any extra event that you help with, if that includes like you're judging the rock crawl, if you're judging LCQ or Trailbreaker, or you're setting up banners, like I will give you extra raffle tickets for helping set up those events. I do keep track of who's doing what. So you can't come to me and say, I did 20 extra things, because like I'll actually note down everything that you do. And I have people that know who's putting people where. So you can try and get extra tickets, and the best way to do it is by actually helping.
Yep.
Not by saying you did it and you didn't do it at all. So I'll know for sure. So I will have those. Those will be, I'm going to give you, first of all, your raffle tickets for your guided trails at the kickoff party. So if you're guiding 3 days, you'll definitely get your first 3. Unless you helped set up, then I'll give them those extras to you then as well. On Saturday, at everyone that's guiding a trail on Saturday, we do ask that the tail gunner, if you're at all able to, help take down banners. Yep. And when you take down those banners, you can either give them to me and say what trail it was exactly, so I know, and I will turn them into the Coke trailer. If not, then you can just return them to the Coke trailer, but then text me and say, I took down banners off of Double Sammy. I was able to grab these 3, and like I need to know exactly how many we grabbed, just so that kind of helps us keep track of not having to go back out to the trails if we don't have to.
Yeah, some banner or some trails get 6 or 8 or 10 banners on them. Others get 4 or 3, and so telling us how many banners you brought off the mountain really helps us understand that.
And which trail.
And which trail you're on. And then the most important part of that process is that you remove the nails as well. Don't just rip the banners off the rock,
Right.
which typically this isn't an issue with us, but it is with other events. Try to pull the nails out, and then of course, get those nails. Don't leave them in the sand if you can. Take them.
Give them back to me. I'll take them.
Yeah.
I'll take your trash.
Or
If
throw
you-
them away or whatever.
If you can't get a banner down, just be like, hey, I got 3 banners down. There is still 2 more up there. There's 3 more up there. I couldn't get those, and we
That's
are
okay.
more than happy to go get them. That's not a problem at all. Just
That
please.
helps us on Sunday when we sweep the mountain.
Yep.
Yes.
And Sunday we do this big mountain sweep and clean up, and we just want to make sure all that stuff's off.
Right.
And it's been brought to my attention that other events have left a couple nails on the mountain. If you happen to see those while you're guiding your trails, take note of that and then let us know, and we will go remove the nails. We take a lot of pride in preserving the mountain and doing what we can to help the mountain. And at the same time, we get criticized for leaving nails and doing things that aren't necessarily under our event. However, we want to be good stewards and make sure all that stuff gets collected.
Right.
So I know we had discussed, I don't know if we're going to do this or not, getting enough hammer to give every tail gunner a
Yep.
hammer that they get to
Right.
keep at the end of the
It's
thing.
a
Unless they
claw.
don't want it, you can leave it with the banners if you don't want it. Because I'm not guaranteeing the quality of this hammer.
Yeah.
Will it be a one-time use hammer? Possibly.
It will probably be a really cheap claw hammer, but we're going to give every tail gunner a claw hammer on Saturday so that you can pick up the banners and make sure you get all the nails out.
Right.
So we've literally ordered a metric buttload of claw hammers.
How much is that?
That's a lot.
Okay.
I'll
Just,
say the word, shit ton.
just so I don't get criticized from people about leaving nails on the mountain, which every year after the
happens.
event, we go out and we patrol, Aaron and I and Casey and Josh and Crystal and others, patrol the mountain and pull everything we can that may be left behind. But it does happen with other events, and we want to make sure all that stuff
Right.
gets pulled.
And again, like if you're pulling off banners, you're just getting more raffle tickets for yourself.
Yep.
So, and I'm totally fine with that. Even if you're picking up garbage like on trails, I will give you an extra raffle ticket for picking up garbage. If you see
Yep.
garbage, pick it up, because that's one thing that my kids do a lot. I know Rich's kids do that a lot as well. When we're out there, we'll be like flying down trail, and my youngest is like, stop, there's garbage. And we stop, we pick it up.
Yep.
So
Every trail ride we are in is a cleanup run.
you bring me a bag of garbage, I'll give you an extra raffle ticket. It's just
And
trying
not
to
from
help
your
you guys out.
camp.
Yeah, I don't want it from your camp. Well, I'll take it from your camp too if I have to, but I'd rather you just use the
Pick it
dumpsters.
up off the trail.
I'd rather come off the trails. So,
David Lamb's asking if they will be stamped with Trail Hero on those hammers.
Ugh. Not unless he stamps them.
Right.
All
Sounds
right,
like
so
you'll be volunteering.
with that, that's the end of our notes.
Yes.
If you have any questions, please let us know before we wrap up.
yes, and we're going to try and have another one of these probably the middle-ish of September again. Same thing. We'll do the kind of everything exactly the same.
Yep.
We'll still have it recorded. We'll post out links, all that kind of stuff, so that way there's
If
enough
anybody
information.
missed this, they have a chance to get it all again. So,
Absolutely.
And with that being said, if there's anything that you feel like we missed, put it in the comments or whatever, and let us know, and we will make sure that it's a topic in the next one.
Right.
So Jake White just said, if you spot some nails and can't get them, drop a pin on your Cardo Tracks map and either share that if you can, so you could
Oh.
technically share it on
Absolutely.
the Yap app,
Yep.
on one of the pictures, which then we can go back
Yep.
after the event's over and be like, okay, we need to go back up to this
Yep.
spot.
That is
Or screenshot to others so they can go find them, or if they're taller people or whatever the case.
That's
may be.
great. That's a great idea.
Good call.
Thanks,
Or even
Jake.
Do that, or even remove them if you can.
Well,
Right.
that's what he's saying.
If you
Take a
can.
picture and then
Yeah.
remove.
Yeah, if you can't remove them, then definitely
Yes.
share it to us and
Share
let
it
us
to all
know.
of us, so let's go out there and get those off the mountain.
Another real big thing too is like when you see the sponsors all the sponsors that are on your guys' shirts, if you see them around Trail Hero, again, thank them for your shirts, for helping us, for keeping you guys non-stinky as much as possible. Jake, I know, has been working hard on that as well. Same with Rich. So we've all been doing it. Any questions you guys have, you guys can always email me or text me or DM me, whatever, because if you go to Rich, you're most likely not going to get your answer because he doesn't have time.
I'm sorry, guys. It's not like year one.
So he's got people in place for this reason.
Yeah.
I literally come home from my day job and I'm on the computer until 9 o'clock at night, if not later. So between all of us, we will get your stuff taken care of. So
Cool.
perfect. Anything else?
All right, guys, with that being said, we're done here. And thanks for tuning in, and we will see you. We'll post up when our next meeting is going to be, and then we'll go from there. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you then, if not at the event.
At Lynn's, we understand that having kids in back-to-back games means you don't have time for extra meal prep. You need fresh options that are quick and convenient.